Five Guys is a family business that grew from the savings of a single man and his four sons who decided to open a restaurant instead of going to university. The business started out of the pockets of these five brave men. In a few decades, it became a corporation that made $3.2 billion in sales, with about 1,800 branded restaurants in 49 states and 25 countries. A classic grass-to-grain story, so to speak. But don't forget, their burgers and fries are fire! The business prides themselves on having a very simple business model that only sells burgers, fries, and milkshakes in a very proper fashion. Their portions are large, there are lots of delicious toppings, and their ingredients are fresh from the farm. However, there's one problem that makes every customer scream and run at the mere mention of Five Guys. A problem that makes entire populations question the legitimacy of Five Guys, calling them scams. The problem is their overinflated prices. You might be wondering, how high could burgers be? Well, the cheapest burger there, a little burger, is about $8.90. While their priciest one is $13.10, as opposed to the cheeseburger you can get at McDonald's for $2.89. That's like a $6 difference between a regular McDonald's cheeseburger and a Five Guys Little Burger. Keep in mind that Five Guys is also a regular fast food restaurant like McDonald's rather than some fancy French restaurant. Yet a bacon cheeseburger, fries, and a regular soda cost around $24. With fast food chains like McDonald's selling so low, everyone just has to wonder, what makes Five Guys special that gives them the audacity to make their prices so high? They could be a bunch of capitalist white men who are only interested in becoming billionaires by raising their profit margins. They could also be proper business owners who use very legitimate ingredients while paying their workers living wages. Whatever the case may be, we are about to do a deep dive into Five Guys. Are they ripping millions out of billions of dollars, or are they worth the price? Five Guys is a business that takes pride in giving customers high-quality burgers and fries. Their portions are bigger, their toppings carry no extra charge, and their customer service is very good. There haven't been many great comments about the overall shape of the restaurant units, especially when you compare them to McDonald's, but many users on X believe that the more terrible a place looks, the better the food will be. Besides, most people order their food to go, so the shape of a business's interiors hasn't been much of a problem. Many have tried to justify Five Guys. The father of the Five Guys and the CEO of the corporation once said that their food prices fluctuate and that they raise the prices to reflect the food costs in the market. So if the mayonnaise guy triples his prices and they pay more for mayonnaise, they'll have to increase the prices of their products. Well, that seems fair enough, but a lot of people were not having it. In a Reddit post titled, "Why Five Guys is Actually So Expensive," someone said, "You'd be amazed if you saw the cost of a truck order. The food cost is extremely low. To answer the question of why they charge so much, I would say simply because they can. People don't like it, but they still buy it for some reason." Another commenter said, "But obviously that's a lie. It can't be off margins because nobody else charges those prices. A large fry is almost $9. For many reasons, this makes a lot of sense. In-N-Out and other fast foods charge a lot less while using the same raw materials for their burgers and fries. They retail the same soda as well. Food prices still don't explain why Five Guys in particular are more expensive than regular fast food." One commenter said, "They charge me like $18 for one bacon double burger and a regular drink. It's called Five Guys because it takes 5 grown men to pay for one whole meal." Guess Five Guys managed to pull 5 fully grown men to pay for their burgers and little fries. Maybe it's worth their time and money after all. Well, as mentioned earlier, Five Guys really does have high-quality fries and larger burgers with toppings that come at no extra cost. A single burger might just be enough for 5 grown guys to share. Well, that may or may not be the case. Let's see how Five Guys compares to McDonald's. Regular French fries at McDonald's are usually around 100 grams and 323 calories. A serving of little fries at Five Guys is 227 grams and 526 calories. A little serving of fries at Five Guys is practically enough to feed an average man. A regular cheeseburger at Five Guys is around 303 grams and 840 calories, while a regular cheeseburger at McDonald's is about 100 grams and 303 calories. You do get more meat per burger at Five Guys. A regular person would be properly fed if they went and got little burgers and fries. But for some reason, their customers try to go for more. When you think about it, one way to make Five Guys more affordable would have been to get the little burger and fries instead of the medium ones, right? But there are a few problems with that. First, A regular person would believe that little burgers and fries are for children. They must be called little for that reason. A full-grown man should be eating a meal reserved for men now, shouldn't he? A large burger with some manly mustard, fresh tomatoes from the farm, and some extra toppings, that should do. You know, the perfect diet for building muscles and all that good stuff. Why? Because it's called a large burger and fries are called large. It's basic manipulation that Five Guys gets away with. Five Guys could try making their little burgers and fries the regular ones and open the menu to some more variety. Maybe put an actual little burger and fries as the little burger, something that will feed actual children, and then decrease the price of the regular burger and cheeseburger so that customers don't feel scammed when they walk in to get burgers and milkshakes. Another thing that you can factor in, well, another two things that you can factor in when deciding if Five Guys is taking advantage of average citizens like the Wolf of Wall Street is inflation and the cost of labor. This is a problem with modern currency. It finds a way to lose value as time goes on, causing the prices of everything to rise as producers try to keep up with the decreasing value of currency. The prices you see on a Five Guys menu aren't something that came about all of a sudden. They have risen through many years to become the unacceptable trade everyone thinks they are. But inflation explains why that happened. Also, Five Guys seems to have a good reputation for paying its workers properly, compared to other fast food chains. That's another good point you can look at. However, compared to other fast food chains, burgers at Five Guys have disproportionately increased in price over the last few years. Burgers are staples in the North American diet, and the ability of an American to afford a burger is very indicative of where the economy is at the moment. The prices of burgers over the years have been closely measured. There is also a slight increase in prices by other fast food chains, but Five Guys seems to be the only ones who have seen the cost of their food rise like Bitcoin in the middle of the 2010s. If the others are affected by inflation, then why is it only Five Guys whose prices are increasing this much? While there are many different angles to come from if you want to rationalize Five Guys, there are also many angles from which you can call them frauds for what they do with their food costs. As much as they boast of superb quality and freshly farmed vegetables and beef, they're still a fast food chain whose menu is simply burgers, soda, and milkshakes. The food packaging doesn't go beyond a brown paper bag. The cups and other containers are basic, and their surroundings aren't really the best, even among fast food chains. McDonald's has been doing better lately with its new interior designs. The truth is, they are overpriced. If they weren't, there wouldn't be so many people trying to justify their pricing. But it isn't exactly safe to call them a scam. As mentioned earlier, Five Guys made about $3.2 billion in sales in 2023. There are still people who would rather eat their burgers and fries at Five Guys than anywhere else. The reason could be the size of the burger, the quality, or the amount of fries per, fries. It's nice to know that there's somewhere you can pay money to get extra value on the cash being spent. It's a good trade for people with large appetites. However, if all you want is a simple burger and fries, then you might want to stay as far away from Five Guys as possible. In the end, there'll be no point in spending that much money just to get a burger. Keep in mind that you still have to pay a good amount in sales tax and a good tip. It's hard to say that they give people their money's worth. To the people who keep returning to the business, it might seem fair. Maybe they haven't found a proper outlet to express their dissatisfaction. Who knows? The waiters at Five Guys might just be tired of hearing how big of scammers their founders are. In the end, they charge a little too much for what it's worth. And since we don't know their exact profit margins, we can't tell if they're really scamming average people. But it is important for everyone to make choices that sit well with them and eat where they're most comfortable with eating. If you like this video, feel free to share, like, and subscribe to all those cool things so you don't miss another episode.